Welcome to Breaking Through Career Uncertainty. My name is Steve Laing. I'm the Assistant Director for Career Services at Central Washington University's West Side campuses at Des Moines and Pierce County. And I also serve the online students in Southwest Washington.
And my name is Chuck Zimchek. I'm the career counselor for the College of the Sciences. All of us have points in time where you reach this point where you really don't see a way forward. You just feel stuck. And research has shown that there are 3 different decision barriers that arise that get in the way of people making decisions about careers. And we're going to talk about those today, talk about some strategies in dealing with them, and then end with some resources that can help you in being able to get through these barriers.
So barrier number 1 is negative thinking. You know, we tend to focus on the negative, whether it's how we think about ourselves, what's going on in the world, or about our future. And so sometimes we get stuck obsessing on what's wrong. And then we wait for things to change and to get better before we make a decision. So the second barrier is a lack of self-knowledge. And you know, it's in uncertainty about what motivates us, our strengths, what our values are, and what we're truly passionate about. This lack of self-knowledge can influence how confident we are in setting goals and making decisions. And then the third barrier is we have an insufficient information about the options. What's available to us? What majors are there? What kind of occupations are even possible? And this lack of self-knowledge can influence how confident we are as well. And you know, it's basically the less we know, the less certain we are, and the less motivated we are to make a decision about moving forward.
So we'd like to just pause here for a moment and have you think about these 3 barriers and think about yourself and make kind of an analysis of are either of these 3 more prominent than the others, or all of them, or just looking at them. And then we're going to move ahead to look at strategies you can use to overcome them. And we'll start off with breaking barrier number 1.
So barrier number 1, which is negative thinking. You know, with the current COVID-19 pandemic, you know, the emotionally charged social justice issues and the bitter political strife going on in the world, and that we see in the news every day, it's easy to feel unsettled, stressed, and like we have little control over what's going on in the world. And this can be really debilitating and a real distraction from believing that we have any control over what's going on. But what's really important is that we need to focus on what we can control. So what we need to do is we can control the time we spend watching the news. We can control how much time we spend viewing social media posts. We can just turn it off. And so it's important that we reflect on positive experiences in our lives. Surround ourselves with people who we've enjoyed spending time with, people who have kind of a positive influence on us. It's also important to focus on our strengths, you know, what you're good at, what you enjoy, and then commit time to doing those things. One of the other things that's really important to do is to help you imagine what's possible is avoid waiting for things to change. So we encourage students who are active now. This is something we hear from employers, is students who are active now and continuing to develop their knowledge, skills will be in a better position to take advantage of opportunities that present themselves when things change. So it's really important just focus on positives in our lives, engage in activities we enjoy, and then it becomes easier to envision what's possible and will give us a greater sense of hope and make it easier to make decisions.
As for the second barrier, finding out, learning about yourself, Um, Without that knowledge, you have no way of determining whether something is going to be a good fit or not. And this is a real difficult barrier to overcome if you don't know where to look. So here are some strategies, and then we'll look at some more ways of looking at it. But first, watch for good experiences, things that you can look back on, and these are experiences not that you were just a participant in, but where you did something, you had a part in making it happen. And what were you doing to make that happen? And that's usually something that points in a good direction. Things that you enjoy doing and do well, and topics you enjoy learning about, and then what you believe is important. So we're going to look at this a little further. Awareness is a critical piece. A lot of times we're looking in the wrong direction and we miss the things we're hoping, what we need to see. And so learning to look at learning what to look at is an important step. The goal is to create a profile of what a good fitting occupation would look like. Once you have that, it gives you um, a, a method of evaluating options and deciding what is it, does this fit me well or does it not? Two important things to look at are what you enjoy doing and what you enjoy learning about. Those come together to make up your interests. And then you can break down each of those, what you enjoy doing. Look for those things that you enjoy doing that you do well, and those would be your strengths. And for those things, those topics you like learning about and believe they're really important and that you would really like to make a difference in that area, that would point to values. And bringing those together are going to be really important in choosing an occupation. The third thing is just personal characteristics, things you know about yourself, environments you like working with, people, the kind of people you like working with. Um, be aware of those, be watching for those, and work to create a profile of what kind of a environment would be a good fit for you. And then finally, the third barrier, insufficient information about options. And that is really important. To break through that barrier, basically three things: matching your profile. Once you've developed that, it gives you an idea of what to look for, matching strengths and values, and looking for opportunities to discover. There are over 40,000 occupational titles. It's constantly changing. It can be overwhelming. If you think I'll just go through the whole 40,000 and decide which ones stand out, you will be past retirement age before you even get close, and they will have all changed by then anyway. So instead of doing that way, here's a strategy that might help. Look for those occupations that would utilize your strengths. And then also look for the occupations that also match your values. And then for those that match your personal characteristics. And then look for the area where they overlap. Without this information here, you are somewhat limited, but if you've worked to gain those and just identified, you don't have to have everything, but if you even have, 3 or 4 or 5 of them, it will really help you focus on the occupations that would be most likely to be a good fit. And then the next strategy is a way of evaluating them. Um, uh, Create a short draft list, no more than 5, but no less than 3. And this is a draft list. It means you're never finished. You're always looking for other things. Um, and when you find one that looks like it has potential, you will bring it down and compare it to the ones you have on your list. And if you like it better than the one you have, you can remove one of them, add it to the list. So it's dynamic. You want it to change. And this also takes the fear away from some of you say, how do I know what I want to do? And you don't have to. Just put 3 down, even though you know that 2 of them you really wouldn't want to do. It's just a place to begin. And then from that point on, you're always changing. As soon as you find one you like better, you change it around. And so this list continues to improve. And it takes away that fear of making the wrong decision. It's a process instead. So just summarizing what we've talked about then, the first thing is break down the barriers. The negative thinking, we've talked about ways that you can get away from that, those things that say, I'm no good at anything, I can't do anything, or there's nothing out there, or all of those negative kinds of ways of looking at things. Overcome that by looking at positives, thinking about what you can do, and be open to what is possible. The second barrier, lack of self-knowledge and confidence to set career goals. Get rid of that barrier, break through that by focusing on what you do and enjoy doing and do well and like to learn about and believe is important. And then finally, options, not knowing about options and the lack of knowledge. Do some research, look for things that match the profile you've created about yourself and that match your strengths and values, and look for opportunities to discover and explore new possibilities. And then the second step is to create a profile of yourself and use that as a guide in your search. And then finally, create a dynamic short list and then continue to look. You're not done just because you have 3 things down. That's the beginning, and you just keep looking, and you will eventually become comfortable that the ones on your list are probably good choices and move in that direction. All right, now we're ready to look at resources.
Right, Chuck. So one of the things that I have been a big proponent of for many, many years as far as researching occupations, and I think one of the most probably beneficial things that students can do is do informational interviews. Now, for those of you who do not know what an informational interview is, it's a method of gathering information about a particular career, particular occupation, or a particular industry by interviewing somebody who is currently employed in that field. It's not a way to look for a job. It's a way to explore research potential and research occupations. And so one of the benefits of doing informational interviews is that you can learn about an occupation from the inside out, from somebody who is currently doing that occupation, rather than from labor market data and position descriptions. What you're getting is you're getting a subjective perspective on that occupation rather than an objective, just data-filled perspective on it. The other thing that's really helpful is that when you're visiting with somebody, you can find out what really motivates that person or what motivated that person to pursue that occupation. And that's what we're all looking for. We're all looking for something that really motivates us to pursue an occupation or to do something. And so the third thing that you can do is, which I think is really important, a lot of people don't think about, is you actually get to practice your interviewing skills. But there's no pressure because you are the interviewer rather than the interviewee. But in all the students I've worked with over the years that have done informational interviews, they've always found these career professionals actually do ask them a lot of questions. So it's a really good opportunity for you to practice answering questions that you may be asked in an interview as well. The other thing that can be really surprising is that conducting these interviews, you learn a lot about yourself and maybe a little bit some about your motivations. And while you're doing this, you're developing a network of contacts, a network of people who are doing the types of occupations that you may find that you really enjoy. And so you're developing this network of individuals that can help you learn about opportunities that you may not have been able to learn about any other way. And so these are some of the things that informational interviewing is really good at. The other thing that you may go in and you may visit with a career professional and discover that, boy, this occupation isn't at all what I thought it was. And so it may help you actually cross a particular occupation, a particular field off your list before you have pursued, that an education in that field. And so there's multiple things that informational interviews are really good about. So I really encourage you to, and I think we have one of the handouts that we're making available to you is tips on informational interviews, talks about what they are and gives you a kind of a summary of how to go about scheduling those, what questions to ask, and all that kind of stuff. So that's one of the resources that we have. And then I think, Chuck, you were going to mention some of the other resources as well.
Yes. So, and as I think about this, we have to make a quick change here, but that handout that Steve was just talking about is available to you, as is this handout right here, Career Services Resources. And I suggest you contact Shannon Larrabee in the transfer student office, and she will know how to make that available to you. And we want to talk about a few things that are available, that are on this list. The first one is an assessment that you can take that can be helpful in you creating a profile of yourself. There's a personality assessment and an interest assessment on here. Just go to typefocus7.com and enter this access code, and then you'll be able to go on, and it also links with different occupations that match the way your assessments came out. And I would suggest also that you make an appointment to see a career counselor. You have free access to those, especially the ones in your college. Each college has one. And make an appointment and go over the results, because they have other resources that are linked to the results that you have that can dig a little deeper. And then the other one that I would suggest is the strong interest inventory. And this you can't access by yourself. You have to go through a career counselor, and then the results, they interpret the results for you and help you understand what they mean.
Yeah, and Chuck, another resource that we have is WOICE. It's the Washington Occupational Information System. And this, as you can see there, provides occupational information, descriptions, related occupations, and all this stuff. But it also has some tools in it which help you assess your interests, your skills, and values. And what's great about it helps you explore occupations. You can find out all kinds of labor market information about these occupations, what the educational requirements are, what the salary levels are, and all this great information. So it's a great tool to help you make plans to reach whatever goals you have set for yourself. Now, the other thing that it's also good at is if you're interested in graduate programs, you can also research some of the graduate programs as well through that system and find out what schools besides Central Washington might be offering a graduate program that you'd be interested in. So to access, the other thing that we have is that all the career counselors in the Career Services Office, we will also be happy to schedule Zoom appointments or video conference appointments with you. And these are some of the things we cover. We can help you do this career exploration. We can help you determine how to go about making the best decisions based upon your motivations, your strengths, your skills. We can help you with resumes, cover letters. We can help you with mock interviews, graduate school search and application, help you with LinkedIn. There's innumerable things that we can help you with, and we really do encourage you to contact us. There's also to make an appointment, you can go to our bookings page, which is it's there noted on that little piece on the slide. It's just cw.edu/career/bookings, and you can book an appointment with a career counselor either at your campus, or we also have career counselors that focus on particular schools and fields. So you can make a choice on which one might be a best fit for you. The other thing we encourage you to do is if you have questions about anything, that we'll provide our emails and our contact information for you, so that you can reach out to us They're on the screen right there. And we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have about the services that we, and the resources that we have available to you. So, Chuck, do you have anything you wanted to add at all about?
No, just that all of this information, including our email addresses, are found on the Career Resources Services resource page. So you will want to get a hold of that, and then you'll have all the information we've just provided. And just we're open to help. That's what we're here to do, and we look forward to being able to do that. And just to kind of close this out, a review, remember, if you're feeling stuck, feel like there's no way forward, stop, wrong way, yield, do not enter, just overwhelmed, like, what am I doing here? That's when you feel like just quitting. And that is the time when you need to take what we've just talked about, the strategies we've talked about, and utilize them to break through the barriers, be able to move on and find a direction that will really fit and benefit you. So thank you for listening to this video, and we hope it was helpful. And please feel free to contact us if you have any questions.